Stanislav, I'm from Great Britain and I'm doing business. I'm a businessman, I'm an entrepreneur. I like to do startup or just buy an existing business. What are my options to come to the States and do business here? So today's video is going to be the answer to this main question. And also at the end, you will be able to learn how to get a free evaluation of your case. Let's go! Hello my dear friends, my name is Stanislav Shamayev. I'm a licensed business immigration and corporate attorney in Miami, Florida. And today we're going to be discussing the main options for businessmen from Great Britain to come and work in the US. And I'm going to be focusing on three main visas: the O1, EB1A and EB2 NIW. Let's start with O1 and EB1A. Those are the talent visas. That means that the United States government basically deem you a talented person. I know a lot of you like, oh, Stanislav, Jesus, I'm not talented. I'm just doing my business. I have maybe a couple of shops, or I invested and I get my dividends, so there's nothing big. But hold your horses, because the talent in the meaning of the United States government has a measure, and that measure is the 10 criteria, and we have to satisfy at least 3 of them. And I want to assure you that most of you have at least 2 criteria, and that is the critical or leading role in a company with distinguished reputation and commercial success. Some of you will have 3 to 4, and maybe a few will have 5 to 6. Probably none of you have 7, 8, because this is a little too hard. Even the petition that I worked for 6 months doesn't often get to 7, 8 criteria. But we don't need that. We need 3. If it's O1, we need to satisfy 5. That's the magic number for me. And if we go with EB1A, I like to see 6. What are all these criteria? And I'm gonna mention only 8 of them, because the 9th and the 10th belong only to the art people, somebody with a talent in art. But because you're a businessman, we're gonna be discussing the business criteria, which is number 1, awards. If you participate in competitions for businessmen in UK and you win the prizes, it could be the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd places, that award is for excellence in the field, meaning for achievement in the field, right? As judged by the professional jurors. And if that award has a national recognition, meaning that basically all businessmen and businesswomen, they recognize it as a good award, then we can satisfy this first criterion. Stanislav, how many awards do I need? Oh, 1 is enough, but if we have more, I'll take more. Number 2, the press about you and your work. Here, I want to see anywhere between 3 to 5 articles devoted to you personally or your business or your past businesses. Make sure you understand that we are talking about the articles where a journalist writes about you. If you write something and it gets published, it gets to a separate criterion. For O1, I would like to see around 3-4 articles about you. For EB1A, 4 to 5 or more. Of course, if there is more, no problem. And definitely TV shows and radio shows also could come in this criterion. And if you don't know how to get the press going about you, we have the contacts of PR agencies that may help you with that. Number 3, the judging the work of others. And others must be professionals. So the classic way to satisfy this criterion is to be a judge in those competitions that I mentioned for the first criterion. That's the classic way. The alternatives are that if you work in a company and one of your duties is to assess the work of other, let's say, top managers or executives, or you could be a business consultant for other businesses where you have to assess the work of other executives or managers. Judging the work of others is very broad. okay? It even could mean that you select the people who would speak at the conference, or you would select the articles to be published in a journal, or you could be the one to peer review the articles of other people. It's very, very broad. And also you could judge the allied fields, meaning like if you're a businessman but they call you to assess the marketing projects, that will work. Number 4 is a membership in professional organizations. And here I believe this one is the hardest criterion to prove among others, because the charter of such organization should say that the members are admitted only for outstanding achievements. There must be a language like that in the charter, or they could list what you need to do in order to become a member. And also the people who will make a decision on your application to become a member, they must be the experts of a national level. You're like, oh God, Stanislav, like every other word is just killing me. Exactly. Association is one of those criteria that we don't really rely on. Okay, so don't really worry about that if you don't get that. Number 5, the contribution in the field. The contribution must be original and significant. With originality, usually we don't have any problem. You invent something, you patent something, or you create some methodology or algorithm, or you write a book, or maybe you speak at many conferences with a subject of business. Okay, so all those things are innovative, they're original. But we also need to prove that it's significant in the field. How do we prove that? Well, maybe it's getting monetized, maybe you sell license to use whatever you created, maybe the experts in the field are ready to confirm that whatever you've done is good for the industry and is being used in the industry. Okay, significance many times equal the usage or the potential to be used. Okay, so that's the contribution in the field. The 6th one is the academic or scientific articles. And here the law tells us that those could be like professional expert articles in the major press or professional press. But when you practice the law, and I've been doing this for almost 10 years, I know for a fact that USCIS does not like when we publish our work in major newspapers or in journals, okay? They want us to publish in scientific journals or academic journals that are peer-reviewed and indexed. With this being said, I need anywhere between 2 and 3 articles for O1 and 3 to 4 for EB1A. Vendors out there who may help you to expedite this process, okay? Because if you do it yourself, you'll be able to do this within a year, but there are companies that help you to expedite it to happen within the next 2-3 months. And the last but not least is the commercial success. And commercial success is measured by either your salary or the agreements for consulting, okay, or for some work you're doing for a company. I prefer to have a higher salary, and that must be starting 20 to 30% more than the similar position in the same geographical region. Well, let's say you are a commercial director in London. We need to find the statistics for commercial directors in London and see how much they make. And your salary must be 30% more than the average. So let's say the average one gets, I'm just making things up, 100,000 pounds. So if your salary is 130 or more, we could make a very good argument that you have a commercial success. If we get to the point where we need to consider the contracts, the consulting agreements, that's a little bit harder to prove because the government doesn't usually get these statistics out on this kind of work. So we'll have to either do audit of the industry or do a lot of research or getting the expert opinion letters. And I think the commercial success is very important because if you're a businessman, you have to make good money. We want to see that money. These 8 criteria, they apply both to O1 and EB1A, but EB1A is a green card, so the depth and the amount of those achievements must be significantly more than those for O1. And let me tell you, Great Britain is #1 country in the world to file for O1 and get the most approvals, okay? So O1 for UK is not a problem, okay? Oh, but Stanislav, I heard that O1 requires an employer, but I do not have an employer yet. You may open up your own company, we may help you out with that. And that company could become your employer, and then you either develop your company or contract out other companies to work for them. There is a solution for that. As to EB1A, it's a self-petition. So you don't have to have an employer, but you have to have really good achievements among those that I mentioned. And of course, it's going to give you a green card. So the timing for O1 is about 8 months from the start of work till the time you are able to come to the States with your O1 visa. For EB1A is probably anywhere between 12 to 18 months, but you'll come in with a green card, and a green card is given to you, your spouse, and children who are under 21 years old. EB2 and IW is a little bit different. We have prerequisite here of a bachelor's degree plus 5 years experience in the field of your degree, or masters with 0 years of experience. If you don't have education, and I have a bunch of businessmen clients who just never graduated college, but they're very successful business people. So there's an alternative of exceptional abilities. It's similar to EB1A on O1 of a much lower level. So usually we are able to prove that and be able to get you through the prerequisites. So it's either education or exceptional ability. Now, once we're done with that, we need to show to the US government that you propose some kind of endeavor, a project that will be in the national interest of the United States government. I'm a strong believer that in the business field, those projects are usually bringing some kind of innovation. If you're creating like IT platform for educating IT people, and that's the real case, there is an approval that we got, or you're bringing some technology to use in the construction sector, that's what we had recent approval for, or maybe you created fertilizer that you've been selling in Great Britain and now you want to sell it to the US farmers, that could be your project, okay? And definitely all of these projects, they are in the national interest of the US government. EB2 and IW also gives you the green card for you, for your spouse and your children below 21 years old, but the priority date, in other words, the wait time, is a little bit longer. It could take anywhere between 2 and 2.5 years, provided that things stay the same as of today. So those are 3 options are the best. O1 is really easy, anyone can get that, your employer could be your own company. EB1A is a little bit harder because we have to prove a lot of things and we have to satisfy probably around 6 criteria. But again, it's all possible. And also EB2 and IW, your education or exceptional ability and proposed endeavor in the US in the national interest of the US government. And EB2 and IW is also self-petitioned, okay? Meaning you don't have to have an employer, but if you have one, it also could help your petition. Now, if you want to know if you have the potential to file for one of those visas and get an approval, you should go through free evaluation. What is a free evaluation? It's a link that you have below this video. You need to click on it, and there is a link for talent visas and NIW. Fill out those forms, one or both. And within 2 days, I will get back to you with analysis saying if you will satisfy the criteria or if you have a potential and which visa is better for you. And if I see that potential, I will invite you to the complex immigration planning where I will build a winning written strategy for your case. Please smash the like button because you love this content and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I release at least 2 videos a week. And also I have a TikTok and Instagram where I post a lot of unique content. Please follow me there. The links are going to be below this video. My name is Stanislav Shamayev. I'm a lawyer of the future. Your future begins here. Good luck.